Now, the thing is with the console wars, I would say, like, back in the days of, like, Sega and Nintendo, it did sort of matter. And this was mainly because you only really had two options. You either had Sega or you had Nintendo. But now you have, like, 4 options in PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and I know this isn't really console, but, like, PC, so there's just a bunch of shit you could really do. And ever since the PS5 and the Xbox Series X have been out, for some reason people just feel the fucking need to stir up this console war again, even though it doesn't really matter. So in today's video, I'm not only going to be talking about how I think the console war is fucking stupid, but the obscenity of console warriors. Like, the console war doesn't fucking matter. Get over it. First things first is that they will defend any fucking decision these companies make, no matter how bad it is. Like, I fucking remember that time period where everyone was shitting on PlayStation because they were recording parties because of some incident I'm not going to mention. And people were still fucking meat-riding PlayStation as if they didn't do anything fucking wrong. And people are currently meat-riding Xbox over this whole fucking AI thing, which is going to generate a bunch of bullshit with AI, like, AI generative dialogue. Wonder how that's gonna go. Look, if you see a bunch of those shitty AI Pixar memes on your shorts feed, imagine all the dumb shit you're gonna see with the AI dialogue and Xbox stuff. Another thing that's just psychotic about these people is that they will buy games for the consoles they hate, then turn the settings on like the worst of the worst, only to then try and like pass off a quote genuine critique of the game. Somebody tried this with Starfield, and another person tried doing this with Spider-Man 2, and it got so bad that the person trying to shit on Spider-Man 2 headbutted their fucking wall. Like, imagine trying to fucking get brain damage, trying to brain damage yourself, all because people were saying that, dude, this is like one of the worst critiques I've ever seen. Started discourse with Mighty Keef over some Xbox stuff to the point where they submitted a photoshopped image and tried passing it off as real to get his Twitter account banned. And someone even tried to involve the console war in a conversation about their fucking newborn child. The amount of mental gymnastics these people had to fucking do just to justify anything or just to go through with this is like astonishing. Like, what the hell? They'll also just straight up lie about how many copies their game sold. Like, people were saying that like Starfield sold 6 million copies, which isn't even true when you look it up. Also creating websites to pretty much promote pro Xbox propaganda. Not being able to take any criticism of whatever fucking console they play. And making fandom menace-like YouTube channels, but instead of targeting anything that has minorities or anything in it, they'll just target any PlayStation media whatsoever.
What in the actual fuck?
Oh my god, the amount of fucking mental gymnastics you have to do is just astonishing. Like, how is this not considered a mental disorder? Like, this is pretty mental disorder if you ask me. Like, it doesn't really matter in reality, but these people are making it seem so big that they're basically turning into Shane from The Walking Dead.
Enough! Rick's gonna lie for a little girl who's gone! Living next to a bar full of things that are trying to kill us! Enough! Rick, it ain't like it was before! Now, if y'all wanna live, if you wanna survive, you gotta fight for it! I'm talking about fight right here!
These people are, like, determined. Like, these people, you would think they're preparing for a zombie apocalypse with the amount of shit they're doing, but no, they're just talking about Xbox versus PlayStation. This whole thing is so minor in reality, especially since both consoles run the exact fucking same when it comes down to games, with no real difference. Like, the only difference you have is graphics, but even then, I wouldn't really consider that a huge difference. Especially since there are games that aren't really the best looking graphically, but they're amazing with the gameplay. But here, I just kind of want to get into why I think the console war is pointless.
I'm gonna nut in your ass and come on your boobies.
Like I said at the beginning of the video, back in the day, you only really had Nintendo and Sega. And those were the only real, like, 2 options you had, because, like, I mean, there wasn't really anyone else. And it wasn't until, like, the 90s where you had shit like PlayStation and Xbox. Now, you not only have PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, but you also have PC. So there's 4 options right there. And most of these games, unless you're like a super hardcore tech geek, most of them are gonna run perfectly fine. The worst you'll get is probably a graphical difference, but even then, there are games that are still pretty good but have ass graphics. Plus, before the PS5 and Xbox Series X even came out, there wasn't much people who really even gave that much of a shit about the console wars, and it was starting to just fade away. And that's where I think it should have ended. But annoying ass shit just finds a way to keep getting worse and worse, I guess. The console wars rose up like a phoenix from the ashes, but instead of having the grace of a phoenix, it was like a fucking botchamania. But at the end of the day, if you're one of these people that still give a shit about the console war, get a fucking life.
What's left of me, but for now, forget about that.